without changing the street network, layout, or plot size. Say, for example, Chandigarh. Chandigarh is already a developed city, but to make it smart city, only thing we have to upgrade the facilities which are already there in the city. So redevelopment. Redevelopment refers to the process where an area is given a complete makeover after removing the building infrastructure and redrawing the new layout. Say, for example, Agartala. That city is also there in one of the smart cities to be developed. But the roads are not that good. The facilities are not that good. So we have to replan the development of that particular city. Then greenfield development. This is very important. That greenfield development are usually done when land is available, mainly on the periphery of the city or land in the possession of the defunct factories, etc., within the city. That means we have to develop the periphery of the cities because some of the places that can be, if we develop that particular place, it can be a tourism spot for that particular city. Now, electricity sector in India, that the utility electricity sector in India has one national grid with an installed capacity of 370.106 gigawatts as on 31st March 2020. Renewable power plant constituted 55.86% of total installed capacity during the fiscal year 2018-19. The gross electricity generated by utilities in India was 1,372 terawatt hour, and the total electricity generation utilities and non-utilities in the country was 1,547 terawatt hour. Now we see that we are using some units, terawatt, gigawatt, megawatt. First of all, let us see what does this unit mean. You know, kilowatt means 1,000 watts. That is 10 to the power watt is known as 1 kilowatt. Megawatt means 10 to the power 6 watt is known as 1 megawatt. Gigawatt means 10 to the power 9 watt is known as 1 gigawatt. Terawatt means 10 to the power 12 watt is known as 1 terawatt. There is also one bigger unit is there, that is a petawatt. So petawatt means 10 to the power 15 watt, and the exawatt is known is defined as 10 to the power 18. 10 to the power 18 watt is known as exawatt. So these are the bigger units which we will use here from time to time. Now, India's electricity sector is dominated by fossil fuels, and in particular coal, which during the 2018-19 fiscal year produces about 3/4 of the country's electricity. The government is making efforts to increase investment in renewable energy. The government's National Electricity Plan of 2018 states that the country does need additional non-renewable power plants in the utility sector until 2027, with the commissioning of 50,025 megawatt coal-based power plants under construction and addition of 275,000 megawatt total installed renewable power capacity after the retirement of nearly 48,000 megawatt old coal power plants. So our government is trying to shift a conventional method of generating electricity through coal-based thermal power plant to the renewable energy sources. And now we will, next part of our discussion, we will discuss about the renewable of sources. First of all, let us see that out of 370.106 gigawatt, how much we are getting from different sources of energy. So coal is 1,034.5 megawatt, that comes out to be 55.4. Large hydro, 45,692 megawatt. Small hydro, 4,683 megawatt. Wind power, that is one of the main renewable sources of energy, that is 57,693 megawatt. That is 10.2%. Small power, solar power is 34,627 megawatt. Biomass 10,022 megawatt. Nuclear 6,780 megawatt, and gas 24,955.36 megawatt, and diesel 509.71 megawatt. But one very important thing, majority major share of producing electricity is carried out through thermal power plant, while coal is used as a fuel. Now, our main concern is how to shift the power generation through thermal power plant to the renewable energy sources so that the pollution will be less, and in smart cities we need smart energy, that is non-polluting energy sources. We will see that how we can get it. Now, roadmap for renewable power by 2022. Total power generation renewable sources of energy will be 175 gigawatt. Out of that, solar energy 100 gigawatt, wind energy 60 gigawatt, and small hydro is 5 gigawatt. Now let us say, sometimes we will say small hydro, sometimes we will say about the large hydro. The difference between this is, for small hydro, actually internationally it is accepted that any hydro plant whose capacity is less than 10 megawatt, it is known as small hydro. But different countries are considering different that values for small hydro. In India, any hydroelectric plant, if the capacity is less than 25 megawatt, it is called as small hydro. But in USA, if the hydro plant capacity is less than 30 megawatt, it is considered small hydro. And in China, they consider any hydro plant whose capacity is less than 50 megawatt, it is considered as small hydro. And the solar power, that is one of the main important renewable sources of energy, and it is very, very important. And you might have attended our previous experts, Dr. Sanjay Agarwal. He has given some topic on solar power, and he has explained deep about the PV cells and all. And so we will confine ourselves only the what are the limitations and the advantages are there for different renewable sources. The solar energy sector in India offers potentially enormous capacity, though little of the potential has so far been exploited. Now, not many projects are going on so that we can increase the power generation through solar power more and more, so that it will be a sustainable development. We can preserve coal, which is used for the generations of thermal power plant for our future generations. So any energy generation has to be sustainable. The solar radiation is about 5,000 trillion kilowatt hour per year is incident over its landmass, with average daily solar power potential of 0.25 kilowatt hour per meter square of used land area with the available commercial proven technologies. As of 31st March 2020, the installed capacity was 34.63 gigawatt, meeting 9.4% of the utility electricity generation. See, landmass is a big problem. I will show you some photographs. You will find that there are several solar farms which is occupying a large amount of landmass. So in any smart cities already there is a lot many people are there crowded in that city. There is a tremendous scarcity of the land. But how we can make use of certain lands for to get the solar energy, that I am giving you some examples now. Some state governments are exploring means to address land availability through innovation. For example, by exploring means to deploy solar capacity above their extensive irrigation canal projects, thereby harvesting solar energy while reducing the loss of irrigation water by solar evaporation. The state of Gujarat was the first to implement the canal solar power project to use 19,000 kilometers long network of Narmada canals across the state for setting up solar panels to generate electricity. It was the first ever such project in India. Now you see that as I told you that solar panels will definitely occupy some space, and this is the one of the picture for solar panels. You see that there are so many solar panels are installed and that is occupying a big area. But these solar panels, definitely the energy which is generated, and that energy will be eco-friendly. It will not damage the environment. It will not pollute the atmosphere, and there will be no difficult for any people to stay in a place where solar panels are installed, and also that we can reduce the power generation to thermal power plant if you get more and more power through solar energy. And this is our main idea. And throughout the whole lot of there is, work project is going on to generate more electricity through solar energy. Now you see that if you go to the European countries, you will find that there are some parking where the cars can recharge their, if the car is driven by the solar power, then they can recharge the car while waiting in the, or while keeping the car in the park. Say if somebody is going to the office and 6 hours, it will be parked in a big parking. But in the parking lot also there are some facilities for recharge. At the same time, if the solar panels are there on the car, so any extra power which is generated during the time because of the solar panels, so that can be shared with the microgrids, so that the excess power can be transferred to the microgrid, and the local people will be benefited. And in European countries, that microgrids are installed, and if those who are having solar panels on the rooftop of the building, and if some energy is extra, if they are generating some extra energy, that can be put on the microgrid for use of the others. Now you see, this is the energy efficient house. In this house, you see that solar panels are installed, and the wind turbine is also installed on the top of the roof. So we can harness energy through wind energy, and we can also get the electricity through the solar panel. But solar panels are not always, always used for generating electricity. Sometimes the concentrated heat can be used for heating water. You will find that most of the hotels at Uttarakhand or Himachal Pradesh, their hot water is coming through the solar panels only. And the solar energy we can also use for street lighting in the cities, and for the signals, the signals which are there on the road, and also the concentrated heat we can also use for cooking purpose by using the solar cooker. And here these are the examples for solar panels for heat and electricity. Now we see that solar electricity generation. So solar energy is one of the main important renewable energy source. So this you see that inside a building, that there is some space and where the solar panels are installed, and the electricity generated through the solar panel will be utilized for that community or that building or offices. And but in some countries, the government has imposed a rule that for any newly to be constructed house, the certificate of building, the design will not pass if any solar panels are not being integrated with that building, the building drawing. And the building drawing has to be integrated with the solar panels. Now, see, this is the simple diagram for the photovoltaic cell, PV cell, and photovoltaic energy, the solar energy converted directly to electrical energy. So this is the PV cell that is activated with the solar radiation, and the current is flowing through the bulb, and the bulb is glowing. But one very important thing that people are having this idea that in the daytime, if it is cloudy, then the solar panel will not work. But nowadays, the advanced solar panels are PV cells are there where even it is a cloudy or uh, or less confined, even though it can be activated because for PV cells they need only UV. Now, synergy with irrigation, water pumping, and hydro power stations. See, this is very important thing that the major disadvantage of solar power is that it cannot produce electricity during the night time. In India, this disadvantage can be overcome by installing pump storage hydroelectricity stations, and this I will discuss in detail later on. Now, wind power. India has a wind power is also the second most important uh, of renewable energy sources, and India, the it is like Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and Karnataka. That not many that wind energy generation units are installed, and they are generating electricity because of the wind power. And India has the fourth largest installed wind power capacity in the world after USA, Germany, and Sweden. The India is taking the fourth place. The development of wind power in India began in 1990s in Tamil Nadu and has significantly increased in the last decade. As of 31st March 2020, the installed capacity of wind power was 37.69 gigawatts spread across many states of India. The largest wind power generating state is Tamil Nadu, accounting for nearly 23% of installed capacity, followed in decreasing order by Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Rajasthan. Now, these are also the this called the wind farm. Here you see it is also taking the space for installing wind power. You see that there are so many series of wind wind turbines are there, and this is the panic pass that wind turbines. And there are two types of wind turbines. One is horizontal axis wind turbine, and another one is vertical axis wind turbine. But what you are seeing that is the horizontal axis wind turbine, and this is mostly used for generating electricity through wind power. Now you see that in Netherlands, the coastal development, and here you see that in the coastal area, there is plenty of wind available, and here we can use by installing series of that wind turbines on the seashore. And this is and offshore we can also place the wind turbine. This in England. These are the photographs for offshore wind turbine generating electricity through wind turbine. Now let us come to the next is biomass power. Biomass power is also one of the most important, say, renewable sources of energy. Biomass is organic matter derived from living or essentially living organisms. As an energy source, biomass can either be used directly via combustion to produce heat or indirectly after converting it to various forms of biofuel. Conversion of biomass to biofuel can be achieved by different methods, which are broadly classified into thermal, chemical, and biochemical methods. Now we see this is the biomass cycle of biomass energy. So since why we are calling biomass is a renewable energy source, we see that you start from here that in the atmosphere carbon dioxide is there, but trees and plants they need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis process, and and they use the carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is absorbed by the trees and plants, and when we get wood from the trees, we make our wooden products like chairs, tables, and all. Then, then when we the life of the chair tables are over, then we get the organic decay that is biomass, and this biomass is burned in the boiler for generating steam, which is being used in the turbine for rotating the shaft of the turbine. The turbine shaft coupled with the generator shaft for producing electricity. So this is a cyclic process. So this is so there is no depletion of the uh, the biomass. Now you see, this is the diagram for the biomass, simple diagram, whatever I have said just now. So here you see that biomass shredder is there. So we are burning it in the biomass boiler, getting steam. The steam is passing to the steam turbine. The shaft of the steam turbine is coupled to the shaft of the generator, which produces electricity, and after that, the electricity is put to the simple diagram. Now you see geothermal energy, and you see that there are some countries like New Zealand, Iceland, El Salvador, and Italy, that there are so many geothermal sources are there. But nowadays, scientists are telling that from any place we can have geothermal energy. And let us see how it is. Geothermal energy is a thermal energy generated and stored in the earth. India's geothermal energy installed capacity presently as experimental and commercial use is insignificant. According to some ambitious estimates, India has 10,600 megawatt of potential in the geothermal provinces, but it still needs to be exploited. India has potential resources to harvest geothermal energy. Now, what is geothermal power? Geothermal power is power generated by geothermal energy. Technologies in use include dry steam power stations, blast steam power stations, and binary cycle power stations. Geothermal power stations are similar to other steam turbine thermal power stations in that heat from a fuel source. In geothermal case, it is earth core. We are not burning the coal as we are doing for the thermal power plant. We are getting the heat from the earth core. And this geothermal energy is used to heat water or other working fluid. The working fluid is then used to turn the turbine of a generator and thereby producing electricity. The fluid is then cooled and returned to the heat source again. You see, this is the one simple diagram of geothermal power. If you visit New Zealand or Iceland, you will find that this will be one of the important tourist places for seeing the geothermal energy which is coming out from the earth core. Here you see that this you can see, and that is becoming a tourist spot for many European countries. See, why geothermal energy is considered to be a renewable source of energy? Geothermal power is considered to be a sustainable renewable source of energy because the heat extracted is small compared with the earth heat content. It is just like a tremendous amount of heat source. That means whatever you take heat, but the content of it will be almost same. Say, for example, we are getting energy from the sun, but we assume that sun's energy is constant. The greenhouse gas emission of geothermal electric stations are on average of 40 grams of carbon dioxide per kilowatt hour of electricity, or less than 5% of that of conventional coal-fired plants. Now we see, this is the beautiful diagram how we can generate electricity. See, here there is a producing well and steam rising. That direct steam is rising from this producer well, and we make a big hole, and the pipe is fitted inside the hole, and from the producing hole, the steam is coming out, and that steam, high pressure, high temperature steam, and here the temperature of the and inside the core of the earth is more than 182 degrees centigrade, and that steam directly coming out from the pipe from the producing well, and that steam is being used in the turbine generating, and the shaft of the turbine is coupled with the generator producing electricity, and that electricity is connected to the grid. And you see that after that, the steam, after doing the work in the turbine, low pressure, low temperature, steam is passed to the condenser, it condenses into water, and the cooled water is fed to the injection well. So water level will not be hampered. Now you see, this is another diagram for this is known, so whatever you have discussed, that is known as a plant, that is a dry steam power station. Now we will talk about the flash steam power station. So in the flash steam power station, that this is the same technique, But let us see how we can get the steam in the flash steam power station. So there is a production well, and through the production well, that that water, more than temperature of it is temperature of the water inside the water, the high pressure, high temperature water is there in the producer well. The temperature is above the temperature of 182 degrees centigrade, and since it is kept at high pressure, so it will be the liquid form, and when it is pumped to the up and to the surface of the earth surface, then there will be a pressure drop, and at a low pressure, the large amount of steam, the water will be converted to steam, because previously at the input it was a high pressure, and when it is coming out to the earth surface, the pressure becomes suddenly very less, and some of the liquid immediately boils, because the low pressure, the boiling point will also be low, and that steam will enter into the turbine for producing electricity. And after that, the low pressure, low temperature steam coming out from the turbine, that will pass to the condenser, and the steam will be condensed, and it will be refed to the injection valve. So this is the diagram for flash steam power station, and this is another diagram for the flash steam power station. Here again, there is a production well, there is the injection well. Production well, the high pressure, high temperature steam is pumped to the flash tank, but the pressure is very less. Immediately, some water will be converted to the steam. That high pressure steam will pass to the turbine, and generator in turn will get the electricity. Now, this is a very interesting case of binary cycle power station. See, binary power cycle station, we are using two cycles simultaneously working, and that we have seen in the thermodynamic courses. Here you see the production well, that we are taking the hot water whose temperature is less than 182 degrees centigrade. So what we are doing, that we are pumping and passing to the heat exchanger. Now we are taking some other working substance on the upper cycle in the binary cycle, that we call it we can take either butane or pentane. So those gases are having the low boiling point. So when the hot water temperature passing to the heat exchanger, its temperature is more than the butane temperature, and the butane is in the liquid form, and if there is a heat exchanger takes place from hot water to the butane, then after taking heat, the butane will vaporize, and the isobutane or isopentane vapor will pass to the turbine, and in turn the generator will producing it. After that, so the condensed isopentane will pass to the heat exchanger to complete the cycle. So this is the diagram which explains everything. Now for the binary power cycle, here you see, here I have shown a different the binary power station by giving the names of the components. Here you see that the one is well head. So one is production, and second one is the other well, which is for feeding the water after completing the one. Now 2 is the ground surface, and 3 is the generator, and 4th is turbine, and 5th is condenser, and 6th is heat exchanger, and 7 is the pump. So here the total diagram is there, and that explains everything. See, now tidal power, it is also one of the renewable power which is not producing any pollution, and tidal power, also called tidal energy, is a form of hydropower that converts the energy obtained from tides into useful forms of power, mainly electricity. Local effects such as delving, funneling, reflection, and resonance can increase the potential of tidal power in that region. See, this is the diagram of a tidal power plant, and where you see that turbine is placed inside the water, and when the tides come, even for high tide or low tide, both cases we can have we can we can generate electricity. Now, nuclear power plants. So, as of 31st March 2020, India had 6.78 gigawatt of installed nuclear power generation capacity, or nearly 1.8% of total installed utility power generation capacity. India's nuclear power plant development began in 1964. India signed an agreement with General Electric of United States for the construction and functioning of two boiling water reactors at Tarapur in 1967. This effort was placed under India's Department of Atomic Energy. In 1971, India set up its first pressurized heavy water reactors with Canadian collaboration with Rajasthan. In 1987, India created Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited to commercialize nuclear power. Now, this is the storm, and this is the block diagram for a nuclear power plant. Basic thing is to generate steam. Now, here this is the nuclear reactor and the pressurized water reactor, and the fuel rods are there. The nuclear reactions takes place. This is uranium-35 bombarded by that neutrons and producing a tremendous heat, and that heat is being utilized for converting water, which is flowing through this cycle in the pressurized water reactor, and that high steam also it transfer heat to the water which is there in the steam generator producing steam, and in turn turbine generator uh, producing the electricity. See, let us talk about the fuel cell. A fuel cell is basically a battery in which the reactants are continually supplied to the electron and the products are continually removed. More efficient than heat engines at generating electricity. Most common type of fuel cells based on hydrogen. And fuels are scalable. Large ones can power homes or neighborhoods. Small ones can be used in appliances. And distributed generation is a decentralized power system consisting of hydrogen generators and fuel cells. Now, this is the diagram of a fuel cell. Very quickly, I will explain how it works. So, it is a fuel cell, and there is cathode and anode separated by a semi-permeable electrolyte medium, and this semi-permeable electrolyte medium will allow to pass hydrogen ion, and it will not allow to pass any electron. Here, hydrogen gas is there at the anode, and it is converting to hydrogen ion and electron. Hydrogen ion can pass through the semi-permeable electrolyte medium through the electrolyte, and electron will pass through the load, and the bulb will glow. In turn, and the electron is coming to the cathode, because cathode is considered as positive, attracts electron, and this two electrons and two hydrogen atoms and the oxygen which is supplied on the cathode side, that forming water. So we can get the energy at the same time. We can get also the drinkable water. So this is also known as a renewable energy source, because what we are, hydrogen and oxygen, we are combining it to get the water. And see that there are different sources of energy through which we can get the electricity. Thermal power plant that we have discussed, nuclear power plant, hydroelectric power plant, gas turbine power plant, and combined cycle power plant. And see that non-conventional sources of electrical power that we have discussed, that solar energy, nuclear power plant, Tidal, and that these are all, and wind power, solar power, these are all sources of renewable energy. And that, but the main sources of electric power generation is still today is thermal power plant. In India, we have initially shown in the data that there are 55.4% power generation through thermal power plant. But for solar power, solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, tidal energy, wave energy, and these are all examples of renewable sources of energy. Now, hydropower plants in India. So water power, like most renewable energy sources, is indirect solar power, and like others such as wind, and it has been contributing to local energy supplies for many countries. India is currently 197 hydropower plants, above 25 megawatt plus 9 pump storage stations as of 31st March 2020. Total capacity is 47,057 megawatt and ranks fifth in the world for potential hydropower capacity. See, there are several examples of hydropower plants already available in India, like Tehridem, capacity is 2,400 megawatt on Bhagirathi River at Uttarakhand, Koyna, placed on Koyna River at Maharashtra, and capacity is 1,960 megawatt. But you see that the capacity of power generation to hydro plants are very, very less in comparison to the big hydro plants located in other countries, and China is having the largest hydropower product and plant in the world that produces around 18.2 that gigawatt capacity. And these are the small diagram, the hydroelectric power plant. The dam is constructed onto the river, and there is a water storage. Through this water storage, we are taking the water through penstoke, and the water, since we are converting potential energy to the kinetic energy, and here the turbine is rotated because of the kinetic energy of the water after utilizing, and the generator shaft is connected with the turbine for producing electricity. After producing electricity, it is being transferred, it is put in the grid. Now, the conversion of energy carried by water into electrical energy is carried out by turbo generator, a rotating turbine driven by the water and connected by a common shaft to the rotor of a generator. See that now I will very quickly explain that the stored energy and available. So water held at a height represents stored energy. Obviously, the potential energy will be mgh and stored energy will be 1000 bgh, where B is the volume of water stored, and because mass is equal to density into volume, and density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube. So here you see that I have already pointed out the pump storage while discussing with solar energy, that this process is very simple. Electric energy is converted in gravitational potential energy when the water is pumped from a lower reservoir to an upper one, and the process is reversed when it is released to run back down. See, pump storage, there are two types of pump storage. A suitably designed generator can be run backward as an electric motor. The machine which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy can perform the reverse process. Because you see, the generator and actually it is producing electricity, but if it can work in the reverse direction, so that can be worked as a pump storage. Now we see that a suitable design turbine can also run in either direction, either extracting energy from the water as a turbine or delivering energy to the water as a pump. Now we see that power, heat, and flow rate. See, in estimating the value of any proposed hydroelectric plant, the power available at any time is probably the most important factor. You know that power is equal to 1000 QGH. Here Q is the flow rate of water passing through the turbine, that is meter cube per second. And if you introduce the efficiency of the turbine, then the equation will come. Equation will be 1000 eta QGH, where G is the height of water and Q is the flow rate passing through the turbine. And if you convert into kilowatt, then it will be 10 eta QG. Here we have considered G as 10 meter per second square. Now, here you see that types of hydroelectric plant. There are different types of hydroelectric plant by the effective head of water, by the capacity, rated power output, by the turbine used, by the location and type of the dam, reservoir, etc. See, ideal hydropower station. Characteristics of an ideal hydropower station. So why hydropower is preferable as a renewable sources of energy? Because constant availability, a reserve energy stored to offer variations, rapid response to changing demand, no sudden or unpredictable changes in input, a location which does not require long transmission lines. Generally, hydroelectric plants are required when there is a tremendous demand of electricity uh, at any time, because throughout the day the demand of electricity is not stable. It's a big demand. We need more electricity, and for that we use the hydroelectric. Now the question is this: how to promote socio-economic development and eradicate poverty while simultaneously halting environment degradation is one of the greatest challenges at the start of 21st century. This challenge is most conspicuous in the policy for water and energy, as both are essential elements for human life. Environmental consideration of hydroelectric plants in operation, it releases no carbon dioxide and oxides of sulfur and nitrogen. It produces no particulate or chemical compounds such as dioxin that are directly harmful to human health, and it emits no radioactivity. Dams may collapse, but they will not cause major fire. See that, however, during 20th century, the construction of large dams has led to the displacement of many millions of people from their homes, that and dam failure have killed many thousands. So we will consider these and other deleterious effects under key headings like hydrological effects, other physical effects, and social effects. See, hydrological effect means diverting a river into a canal or mountain stream into a pipe may not greatly change the water flow, but it can have a more effect on the environment. We will discuss these things while discussing some of the case studies, that even if you divert the water from the river, because if you want to put a hydroelectric plant, some that we have to divert the river to a canal, and how it creates a big problem that you will understand by this while discussing some case studies. Other physical effects are there: dam failures, plant failures, failed fields, and methane gas. See, now social effects. So if we discuss a simple story, which is from childhood, that how the social effects are there due to the construction of a hydroelectric plant, because you know very well that if you make a big hydro plant, there are hundreds of towns and thousands of villages will be submerged in water. So this story goes like that: they built a dam and made a lake in place where Sasan lived. Here Sasan is a person who lived, but in that place a camp was built. Sasan and his family had to leave the farm. His grandfather had to live there. Sasan was born in that place. He was sad to go, because if you construct a big dam and if millions of people have to be displaced, but nobody would like to leave their own place, own society, and own place where their forefathers were also living. So examples of social effects are this: that the Aswan Dam at Egypt and Kariba Dam at border between Zambia and Zimbabwe involved the relocations of about 80,000 and 60,000 people respectively, whilst the rising water behind the three Gorges Dam at China submerged about 100 towns and displaced over a billion people. Environmental effects. Advantages are: for hydro plant, produces no atmospheric pollution, neither consumes nor pollutes the water it uses for electricity generation, produces no waste, avoid depleting non-renewable fuel sources, very few greenhouse gas emissions relative to other large-scale energy options, can create new fresh water ecosystem with increased productivity. There are some disadvantages with regard to the environmental aspect: inundation of terrestrial habitat, modification of hydrological region, modification of aquatic habitat, water quality needs to be monitored, sediment compositions and transport will need to be monitored, greenhouse gas emissions can arise under certain conditions in tropical reservoirs, barriers of fish migrants and fish. But in this case, that when the the plant becomes the plant rot is at the bottom of a reservoir that emits that methane gas, and that is one of the main greenhouse gas for creating the global. That is one of the reasons for global warming. Social aspects advantage leaves water available for other use, often provide food, large production, may enhance navigation conditions, often enhances recreational facilities, enhance accessibility of the territory and its resources, provide opportunities for construction and operation with high percentage of local manpower, improve living conditions, sustain livelihood. Disadvantages are may involve the resettlement, may restrict navigation, local land use patterns will be modified, waterborne disease vectors may occur, requires management of competing water use, effects on impacted people, livelihood need to be addressed with particular attention to vulnerable social groups, and effects on cultural heritage may need to be addressed. And economic aspects, advantage provides low operating and maintaining costs, provides long lifespan because a hydro plant, big hydro plant lasts for more than 50 or 100 years, that means load flexibility, provides reliable services, can instigate and foster regional development, creates employment opportunities, save fuel, and optimizes power supply of other generating options. Then economic aspects, disadvantages, high upfront investment for a large a plant like the Gorges plant, that is the biggest hydro plant located at China. They spent billions of dollars for constructing that big hydro plant. And precipitation dependent. In some large cases, the storage capacity of reservoirs may decrease due to sedimentation, require long-term planning, require long-term agreement, require multidisciplinary involvement, and often requiring foreign contractors and funding. Now we will discuss some case studies on environmental issues. And the Galloway Hydro Plant, the Gabcikovo-Nagymaros Hydro Plant, the Gorges Hydro Plant, and Ethiopian Renaissance Dam and large hydro plant at Tidal. You see that Galloway Hydro Plant and first proposal, and here will be this one, this hydro. There are series of hydro plants, a series of dams located which is there on River Dee in southwest Scotland. That is now here you see that there are the first proposal came in 1890, and the proposal was passed after establishment of national grid in 1920. So it took 30 years to pass the proposal, and initially commissioned in 1935. But that there was a problem. Several of its dams are on Salmon facing rivers. So this is the problem, environmental issue, because in European countries that salmon is very, very popular fish, and for breeding or spawning, the big fish has to flow in the opposite direction of the river. But if you create dams at several places, they will not be able to flow in the swim in the opposite direction because of the obstructions of the dam. But later on, they have made some modifications that to make the series of pools at different levels. So when the series of pools are placed side by side, I mean one after another with a small height, I mean the level of the pool that or pools placed one after another, then the salmon is with the flow, against the flow of water, they can go in the upstream, and the small fishes also can come in the downstream direction. So later on they found that this may be the problem, and there are 6 dams and 6 power plants are placed at this Galloway hydro plant. And one very interesting thing is this, that all the plants are different because the availability of the height, as per the availability of the height, they have to place the special kind of turbine. Now this is the one of the hydro plant, that is Gabcikovo-Nagymaros Hydro Plant, and this is on the river Danube, there was an agreement between Slovak and Hungarian, and the proposal of constructing dams on River Danube, and that dam was to be is constructed at Bratislava at Slovakia. Now, here that is in between the two countries. Agreement was signed to construct this big dam at River Danube, and this to the hydro plant capacity was 880 megawatt, and this was signed in 1977. But opposition on environmental issues started in 1980, and because there will be obstruction if you put a dam at Slovakia, definitely the flow of water will be less at the Hungarian side, and yes, there was a lot of opposition for environmental issues, and some of the special species are in danger. And in the year 1989, that Hungarian government has cancelled this agreement, and in 1992, that Hungarian government cancelled the 1977 agreement. So in 1993, Hungarian and Slovak government took the dispute to International Court of Justice, and we see that Slovakia government, after constructing this dam, they want to fill the reservoir, and if at the same time they will make a canal which is bifurcating the water, and again it will reconnect at the Danube River, and because of the bifurcation of the canal, which is around 80 kilometers long, there was a dispute, and the dispute also went to the International Court of Justice at Court. And in 1995, the Slovakian government, they agreed to control the flow of water, but in 1997, the International Court of Justice passed the rule that both the countries have done signed the agreement illegally, and they have not consulted the environmental resources, and that dispute continues over decades. Now, this is the three Gorges plant, that is the biggest hydro plant in the world, that originally proposed on the Yangtze River in 1919 at the time of Sun Yat-sen, and there were a lot of environmental issues over there, and there were a lot of protests, and it was there, and proposal was agreed in 1992, even though there were a lot of opposition, environmental opposition, and worldwide these oppositions, they have raised the voice against constructing this big hydro plant. And the construction began in 1994 and completed in 2003. And largest hydro plant, installed capacity is 22.5 gigawatt, and there are 32 turbines having 700 megawatt capacity and 2 turbines 50 megawatt capacity. And the dam started archaeological and cultural sites and displaced some 1.3 million people, and around hundreds of towns and so many archaeological sites or tourist spots were submerged under the water. And because of the agitation, the World Bank and other and non-financial shape organizations have stopped funding, but because of they have got fund from some other financial organizations, and they could continue this. But you will be surprised to know it's a big plant, and there were 39 trillion kg of water stored in that big dam, and because of the so much huge mass of water is confined in a particular place, that is in the reservoir in the Three Gorges hydro plant, and the moment of inertia of Earth has changed, and due to the change in moment of inertia, the rotational time of Earth has been changed, and NASA has calculated that 0.06 microsecond reductions of rotational time is there for the arc due to that large constructions of this hydro plant by China. Now, this is the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, and this constructed at Ethiopia, and this agreement took place between the three countries, Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt. But Egypt is not sharing border with Ethiopia, but Sudan and Ethiopia are sharing their borders. But this dam was constructed at River Nile at Ethiopia, and initially this agreement was there, and three countries they signed on the agreement that they will use the Nile water for constructing this, for generating power after constructing the Renaissance Dam or Millennium Dam at Ethiopia. And the construction started in 2011, and it was opening date was 2020 and 2022. And this is the seventh largest hydro plant in the world. The installed capacity is 6.35 gigawatt. There are 14 turbines having 400 megawatt and 2 turbines of 375 megawatt. And the reservoir could take 5 to 15 years to fill water. And Egypt, there are 100 millions of people are there, and there 90% of that water for their own use. They use from the river, the water from the river Nile, and the whole country, Egypt, they fully depend on the water from the Nile. Later on, they thought that when this big dam is being constructed, and if there is water not available, then the country will be in danger. Egypt country is in danger because of the scarcity of water. And in the colonial time in 1909, the England has British people given the rights to use the water to two countries, Egypt and Sudan, and they said that no, you cannot do, you cannot start, and there was a lot of human trial in this dispute is still going on, and this dispute has gone to, to sort out this dispute, they have requested U.S. Council, and now the Donald Trump's administration is not able to give time to sort out this issue, to start this dam because of the serious problem which the world is facing due to the coronavirus. Now, that large hydro plant in Brazil, that in Brazil and Paraguay, they have constructed a dam in 1975, and there were 2,700 megawatts. That this this construction was over in 2006, and installed capacity is 14 gigawatts, and there were 20 turbines having 700 megawatts, so total capacity is 14 gigawatts. But one very interesting thing is this, that Paraguay and Brazil, they are sharing, there are 50 turbines, 14 gigawatts, the 7 gigawatt is the share of Paraguay, and 7 gigawatt capacity is the share of Brazil. But Paraguay's 95% power is taken from this by generating electricity through this turbines. But there are a lot of power is excess, and the excess power is being sold to the Brazil. But one interesting thing is this: Paraguay that using 50 hertz AC power, but Brazil using 60 hertz. So initially with rectifier, while selling Paraguay to Brazil, they are rectifying and converting to AC to DC, and 630 kilovolt they are supplying to DC. And again in Brazil, since they are using 60 hertz, Brazil is reconverted to 60 hertz, and they are using. Now see that renewable energy, what we have discussed till now, that there are a lot of benefits and drawbacks. Now, when it comes to renewable energy, the positive outweigh outweigh the negatives. There are more positive advantages than the disadvantages. Transitioning to renewable on a personal, corporate, or governmental level will not only save costs but also promote a cleaner, healthier environment for the future. Installing solar panels is one of the easiest ways to go green. Wind, geothermal, solar, hydro, and other renewable fuels are a widely popular source of energy throughout the world today. Renewable energy won't run out. Renewable energy technology use resources straight from the environment to generate power, whether it is solar energy, wind energy, or geothermal energy. So it is not, it will not get exhausted. It will be always available again and again. The renewable sources won't run out, which cannot be said for many types of fossil fuels. Now, maintenance cost is less. In most cases, renewable technologies require less overall maintenance than generators that use traditional fuel sources. This is because generating technology like solar panels and wind turbines either have few or no moving parts. Now, renewable energy saves cost. Using renewable energy can help to reducing cost in long term, not only to save on maintenance costs but also on operating costs as well. Renewable energy has numerous health and environmental benefits. Renewable energy operations sources emit little to no greenhouse gases or pollutants into the air. This means a smaller carbon footprint and an overall positive impact on natural environment. And now let us come to the smart cities. So what we have discussed right now, that there are so many renewable sources of energy, and that for smart cities we cannot use the energy, electrical energy generated through thermal power plant, because thermal power plant is producing electricity. So for renewable sources of energy, we can have electricity for using smart cities. And there are several projects are already on that integrated command and control centers, that intelligent traffic and transportation, management system, smart classroom projects, waste to energy plant, and smart energy management system. So here you see that waste to energy plant. So you will be surprised to know that a lot of solid waste are generated in the town because of the human involvement. And that solid, there are so many technologies that are coming which we can generate energy or recycle a part of solid waste or generate electricity through the solid waste. In Sweden, you will be surprised to know that 99% of the Sweden of that solid waste is being again reutilized. Out of 99%, 47% they are recycling. That some metals, plastics, or some other usable things are there. So they can recycle, or the remaining, say, around 52% of solid waste they are using for generating electricity. They're burning it after burning the heat which is generated in incineration or any other process, that they can use that energy for generating electricity. And the major projects of smart cities like smart solid waste management that are systems, this is very important. And we can also generate electricity, generate power through landfill gases for the solid waste management. And wastewater treatment and recycling system is also very important. That there are already that the water treatment plants are there, and after before putting to the river, we have to treat the water so that if you put the polluted water into the river, then there will be danger for the fishes and other plants because they are in the river. So we have to treat it sometimes, and sometimes we can use it for irrigation purpose and healthcare and IoT-based solutions, solar energy appliance applications, and smart grid and smart meters. So this is the one building at Hyderabad, and here the integrated command and control centers at Hyderabad, and it is eco-friendly and modern uh, that building, uh, and here mainly they use the solar energy for running their equipment. And this is the smart energy application, smart agriculture, solar water pumping system. So this is a very important thing. You see that nowadays it is very popular, and we while discussing with the solar energy, we discussed that if the solar energy generating electricity and if the electricity is, if the generation is more than the demand, then we can use this that solar panel for extra energy for the solar water pumping system for mainly for the irrigation system. And this is a renewable energy application for smart cities, that renewable power supply to smart cities through installations of solar energy power within or outside cities, solar rooftop in residential, industrial, commercial, institutional buildings, including airports, ports, railway stations, metro rail, and solar water heater we can also use, and solar concentrator for processing heat and cooling applications. Renewable energy applications for smart cities like methane recovery based sewage treatment plant, solar pump for water pumping applications, street light through solar power plant. You see that most of the Kolkata street lights are run on solar power, and in the daytime they get the energy and charge the battery. In the night you will find the beautiful lights are there, and you will feel a beautiful city if you visit to Kolkata nowadays. But in some others like Bangalore or uh, or Indore or any other smart cities, you will find that 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 uh, street lights or the traffic signals are being controlled by solar power. And solar traffic signals on roadside vehicles and solar-based advertisement hoarding, waste to energy technology for treatment of solid waste and green building. And this is the very interesting diagram. You can see that in this diagram, solar water heater. And as I told you that the on the top, solar panels are there. Concentrating solar panels here. We are getting heat, we are collecting it, and that heat is being used for heating purpose in the water heating system. And most of the hotels which are there in Himachal Pradesh or Uttarakhand or in city area, they are especially using the solar concentrator, and that concentrating that heat is utilized for heating the water. And this is the solar air heating. This is also one technique for utilizing the solar energy for solar air heating. Now, see, solar power is promising. Renewable energy resources, then solar power is a promising renewable energy resource, then and that can be turned into electricity and used with fire or even home. So this is a small place. You can see the village where on the roof of the building solar panels are there, and these solar panels are getting converting electricity for their home appliances. And many other alternative energy sources like geothermal power, which draws upon the Earth's natural heat, and biomass, which produces an alternate gasoline, are being considered in the movement away from fossil dependence. Now see the smart energy applications in India. See, Kochi Airport uses 100% solar energy, a 12 megawatt capacity solar generator converting 45 acre plant, investment $10 billion $100, and the airport will get free carbon-free electricity for another 20 years. And waste management in Yuna, Mumbai, and this waste to recovery production plant converts 3,000 tons of waste to generate 20 to 30 megawatts of electricity electricity every day. See, the new smart city has become the first city in India that runs on 100% renewable energy during the daytime, setting a benchmark for other cities to follow. The city has developed a 9 megawatt solar park spread over 50 hectares rocky barren land. Besides, it's installing solar panels on the rooftop of 79 government buildings, generating 1.3 gigawatt. And new city now saves 13,000 tons of carbon emissions every year, and power tariffs cut in residential category by 50% this year. So, already in India, there are some cities which are purely converted like smart cities like New City and the Indore in others like Chandigarh, and those cities those smart cities should be North Star to follow for the other cities to make them convert them as smart cities. Now we see that in 2050 that the urban scientists are forecasting that more than 70% people will stay in the cities, and there are a lot of energies required for the smart cities, because in smart cities that all the activities will be run by the due to the integrations of ICT, the information communication technology and all, and but the energies which we get for the smart cities should be such that it should be eco-friendly and sustainable, and there should not be any pollution. Like the pollution comes out from the thermal power plant, you have to depend on the renewable energy sources like solar energy, wind energy, and hydroelectric plant, and wave energy, thermal wave energy, and that fuel cell, biomass, and all. So we have to, we have to shift the productions of electricity from conventional energy sources to non-conventional energy sources, or we have to shift for generations of power, especially to be utilized in smart cities, to non-renewable energy sources, to renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and others. So this is one diagram for smart cities, that to get a comfortable, say, weather, the plants are there on the buildings. It's a very good diagram, one of the best examples for smart city buildings. And this is another building. You see that a lot of plants are there because plants are very much useful for sustainable development. And this is one diagram, and this is smart buildings where all Wi-Fi and other facilities and ICT facilities are there, internet are available. And this is another diagram for smart cities. This is one more beautiful diagram for smart cities where all facilities and everything is there. And this is then one more diagram for the smart cities. And this type of buildings you will find the European countries like Barcelona, Iceland, and other developed countries like USA and Germany, France, and all. And this is another diagram for smart cities. And this is one more say diagram for a smart city. You see that smart cities, there are smart energy, there's smart governance, there's smart technology, there is smart mobility, the smart buildings, and smart planning. So for all these we need energy, but energy must come from the renewable sources diagram. And here you see, the Earth's inhabitants must take a serious look at energy resources use and conservation, because we have to think of sustainable development, and we must protect our environment, so that for any activity, human activity, for our own, for generating our own, say, energy should not pollute the atmosphere. Thank you very much for listening my lecture for a longer period. Myself, Subhashish Maji from Engineering and Technology of Indira Gandhi National University. The email is there, the mobile is there. If you have any difficulty, you can. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, my phone number or in WhatsApp or in mail, you can ask as many as questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a wonderful session. I can see one or two questions in the chat box.
Okay.
The first question is Professor Basant Randa is asking, what are the types of turbines used in these big capacity hydropower plants, and are they running throughout the year?
Actually, you see that there are different types of turbines. That Francis turbines, Kaplan turbines are different types of turbines for using different conditions. And you see that it's a very interesting question he has asked. That it's very good question he has asked. That one question is there at Itaipu, that the China has constructed the biggest hydroelectric plant having capacity of 22.4 that gigawatt, but they could produce only 101 trillion kilowatt hour energy in a year. But the Itaipu, that plant the capacity is less. That is around, say, 14 or that is less than the much less than the Chinese. That is three Gorges that turbine at the three Gorges power plant, hydroelectric power plant, China. But even though at Itaipu, that hydro plant, they are producing more, around 3.6 that trillion kilowatt hour that power, but because the capacity factor of the Itaipu hydroelectric plant is more, that is around 85%, whereas the capacity factor of the three Gorges hydro plant, that is the biggest hydro plant capacity, and look at China, that since the capacity factor is only 45%, so the net power generation, that energy generated in a year is not highest for China's three Gorges power plant. So thank you very much for asking this question.
Thank you very much, sir. Through this presentation, we have learned a lot of things about various sources of energy, various non-conventional sources of energy, and how these non-conventional sources of energies can be used to build the smart city project, or we can implement these concepts in the smart city projects, which are the need of the modern hour, which are the need of the modern day, and which has already been prescribed by the government of India. I thank Professor Maji for such a wonderful session. It was really enlightening, and we hope that we will have future collaboration in this type of activities as well. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dear participants, this is the end of the first session of day 4. The second session will start from 3 o'clock. Our speakers are Professor Chitra Chidambaram and Professor Vikas Singh Vadoria. So we hope to see you all in the second session from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Thank you a lot. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.